Hi guys, Matt Nokes here. I'd like to talk to you about natural hitting. What is natural hitting? Now, in short, what natural hitting is finding the natural timing solutions and swing flow timing to solve the problems, all the variables that come up, all the problems that you have to cope with, all the difficulties that you have to deal with, syncing up a pitcher and all that. It's finding the answer, the solution through timing versus the solution through trying to find a mechanical answer. Okay? Because the mainstream, there are 2.5 million of us in the mainstream hitting community. And so much is going around in the mainstream community about mechanics and about making adjustments mechanically. But the fact is that the natural hitters, the great hitters, adjust through timing. They make their adjustments, they find their solutions through timing. And so let's go through this list here. So our greatest resource is our automatic mind, our subconscious mind, our most powerful ability. And it's our most powerful ability because it processes information at 1,000,000 times greater speed than our conscious mind. At 40 bits per second, some scientists say 40 bits per second in our conscious mind, 40 million bits in our unconscious or automatic mind. So once we've learned something, once it becomes a habit, once it becomes muscle memory, so to speak, even though your muscles don't have memory, it's hardwired into your mind. When it becomes, quote, muscle memory, it is, at that point, it is operating at 40 million bits, 1,000,000 times faster than the conscious mind. Now, number two, there is the timing solution. So what do we have to deal with the timing solutions? All right, so part of natural hitting is understanding what we have to deal with. One is the pitch. There are a lot of things we have to deal with syncing up a pitcher. There are 6 timing touchstones, I call them. And now, for a scout, they're indicators. For coaches and scouts, they're indicators. There's 6 indicators that deal with your timing. One is how you cope with the pitcher. Number 2 is how you sync the pitch. Number 3 is how you time the pitch. Number 4 is how you find a repeatable swing that has a short enough timeline that you're able to synchronize. All right. Number 5 is a stride and transfer coordination. You have to coordinate your stride and your transfer, and that has to have a flow, a swing flow, and a timing. And 6, you have to match your swing time with your pitch time. So those are the 6 timing touchstones. Now, why is that important? Why did I even bring it up? I brought it up because let's say you're jumpy and you don't know why. I mean, in the big leagues, I remember being jumpy, but I didn't know at the time. I was a natural hitter. And when I would struggle, I would go to what I knew. And what I knew wasn't always right, because what I knew was what was passed down from people who gave me information, or at least what I thought sounded good. Like if I had to give a talk and I heard someone say something, it sounded real eloquent, it sounded smart. So when it's time for you to give a talk about, when you're talking to a group, you want to use their words or whatever because it sounds intelligent, it sounds smart. But the fact is, it couldn't be further from the truth. So there are 6 timing touchstones, and unless you understand these elements, then you won't know what area you're struggling in, because once you understand the area that you're struggling in, then you can develop a rehearsal, you can learn to cope with that issue, and then you can desensitize yourself, start to filter the parts of it that give you or that create a distraction, and then you're able to be relaxed and you're able to cope with it effectively. Your mechanics, the timing solutions for mechanics, everything has to have a flow. You have to coordinate your stride and your transfer. Now, we'd all have to say, we all agree that our timing is transferring on time. Now, that doesn't mean we need to go anywhere. We can do this in a phone booth, but we have to transfer our weight into the ball on time. And it is very time sensitive. It's like chopping a tree. If you're chopping a tree and right before you hit it, you pause for a second, and then you hit it. You slap it a little bit. Well, at that point, you lose all that energy, that little ball of energy that came up through your body, up through your swing levers, and in through the axe blade, and into the tree. You don't have any energy in there because you pause. So you lose that swing flow energy, that little ball of energy. So there are, you have to coordinate your stride and your transfer. You have to coordinate getting that stride and the transfer, and then getting your swing flow that's coordinated with that stride and transfer, so that it's a one fluid motion, and the timeline has to be short enough to where you can control it. For example, I'm gonna have to stand up for this. Let me give you an example. Let's say my timeline, or let's use the pitcher's throwing motion as the first example that I give you. Okay, so let's call it 1 through 10. So the pitcher, let's say his windup is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, well, what good hitters do, and it's, as a matter of fact, what you do when you play catch, since you've been that high, is you don't pay attention to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't even pay attention to that, because you filter it out. You filter it out. And so what big league hitters do is they don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If they did that, they'd get all strung out and they wouldn't be able to synchronize the pitcher or the delivery. So that's one reason why you need to keep your timeline short. What a good hitter will do is they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that they will just filter. It's almost like when you're listening to some music and you're snapping to the beat of a song. Everything in the music is telling you when the beat's gonna happen. Everything in it. But are you contemplating every little sound that you hear and anticipating all the way up so you get uncoordinated when you do it? No. You just know when the beat, because you're focusing on the beat. You're not focusing on the music leading up to it. You're focusing on the beat, so it's natural. Same way with focusing on release. So if you're looking at the pitcher, you filter out all of his motion in the delivery until you get to the beat of release. And so what a big leaguer will do is he'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? And he's filtering. So really all I'm aware of as a major league hitter is 9, 10. 9, 10. I'm not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now that's the same thing at the mechanical level. Your mechanics are not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're just going to be 9, 10. Okay? 9, 10. You're going to shorten that timeline. So that's what I mean by timeline. All right? So you want to shorten your timelines. And the adjustments that you make have to be moves that are natural. The moves need to be natural. If the move is unnatural, then you're actually creating more time. For example, we talk about driving your hips, which is a myth. We're talking about, now people say, we're talking about driving your hips as a myth. Well, I'm not above saying that a major leaguer who feels his whole trunk constrict and his core is tight and his shoulders are tight and everything's tight, so when he and they're connected to his hips, so when his hips fire, everything fires. But what I'm saying is if I fire my hips, I can't fire my core, because I'm supposed to fire my core. My core is what fires. My core fires to swing. And so if I'm firing my lower body, I can't fire my core until my lower body stops firing. When this stops firing, then my upper body can fire. So that would create a longer timeline. And so that's not a natural movement. And nor would you, for example, if you were to take a big, heavy cinder block, let's say, or a 75-pound weight, and you're gonna pick it up and throw it off a cliff. Okay, you're gonna grab the weight, so you grab the weight and you shift and throw it over the hill. All right. You wouldn't grab the weight, squish the bug, open your hips, and then throw it. You'd have nothing left. You'd shift your weight, and then your core would fire, okay? And then because your core is attached to your hips, because your hips are part of your engine mount, they get turned. They don't turn. They're part of what is called your foundation. They're the very top of your foundation. But that's for another video. So what natural hitting is using your most powerful resource, your automatic mind. Your automatic mind is so powerful that it processes so quickly, so that when you learn how to cope with the pitcher's delivery, and you know how to cope with the mechanics, and you know how to make adjustments using moves that are very natural, and you understand variables. What natural hitting, you have to understand the variables. For example, there are 6 timing touchstones. Okay, I'll give you a couple. Okay, the pitcher's got 3 motions before he throws the ball. He's got a slow motion, and then he's got his attack, all right, and then he's got his release. All right, well, if you're jumpy and you start getting jumpy out there and you don't realize that the fact that you're not coping with the delivery of the pitcher, then it's that variable that you're having trouble with. And if you know how to identify it, there's nothing you can do other than try to maybe change your mechanics to slow yourself down. But in any event, once you understand the variables, then you can start working on it. You can create a rehearsal and start working on it. When you've been playing catch all your life, you sit there, you talk to your buddy on your side, and someone's about to play catch with you. You just know exactly when he's going to throw it. And as soon as you're about ready to win, to look at when he's going to throw it, you look up. There he is. He releases the ball. You filter out the rest. You don't care about the motion. You just know when it's going to be released. Because if you know if you know when it's going to be released, you'll actually see where it's going to be released. And so that's an example of one of the variables of understanding that, so that you're able to cope with it and then build a rehearsal in order to prepare for it. So using our high-speed processor, which is our automatic mind, we're able to identify the variables that are difficult and that are giving us trouble. And then we're able to apply the movements that are natural, our natural movement, and then shorten the timelines. And because we shorten our timelines, it's easier to synchronize something. For example, if I were to take a swing and I went like this and then swing, that would be a lot longer timeline than if I just got in this position and I went 9-10, stood here and went, kept everything short. So the longer your timeline with your mechanics, the harder it is to actually synchronize. So what natural hitting is finding the timing solutions for your swing and for the issues and for the things that you need to cope with, instead of looking for mechanical solutions. The amateur hitter will reach a certain level if he's only thinking about the mechanical levels. He's going to reach a point, and that's going to be his cutoff point, because he's not doing things by timing. He's not finding the timing solution, not just with the pitcher and not just with the pitch and not just with your swing, but actually making adjustments, making corrections, understanding that it's all timing. And so what a natural hitter will do is find those natural timing solutions.